Today's Federal Flash covers federal funding for historically Black colleges, the impact of the Trump administration's immigration policies on children, international test results, and a debate on education with Democratic presidential candidates. Hi, I'm Lindsay Dworkin, and I'm joined by Ann Heislep. Let's begin with funding for historically Black colleges. Ann?
On Tuesday, the House and Senate passed legislation to permanently reauthorize more than $250 million to support historically Black colleges and universities, or HBCUs, and other minority-serving institutions. Funding for these institutions was in limbo as members negotiated a broader Higher Education Act reauthorization. An overall HEA deal continues to elude Congress, but at least funding for HBCUs is secure. The legislation also achieved a long-standing priority of Senate Education Committee Chairman Lamar Alexander, simplifying the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA. The FAFSA Act makes it easier for the Education Department and the IRS to share students' taxpayer information, and therefore easier for students to apply for federal financial aid.
Last week, the House Education Committee held a hearing on how the Trump administration's immigration policies are harming children. Committee Chairman Bobby Scott noted that about 27% of all children living in the United States, nearly 20 million children, are growing up in immigrant families. Federal law ensures that these children have the right to a free public education, including early childhood education and programs that deliver basic nutrition assistance. In his opening statement, Scott asserted that the Trump administration has, quote, implemented draconian immigration policies and inflammatory rhetoric to discourage or prevent children growing up in immigrant families from accessing basic services for which they are eligible under federal law, end quote. To view the full hearing, visit the link below.
Also last week, results on the 2018 Program for International Student Assessment, or PISA, showed American 15-year-old students performing 8th in reading, 11th in science, and 30th in math compared to their international peers. That performance placed U.S. teenagers above the international average in reading and science, but below it in math. While overall rankings for U.S. students improved since the previous assessment 3 years ago, that gain was attributed to decreased performance in several other countries. To learn more, visit the link below.
Finally, 11 education organizations, including teachers' unions, civil rights organizations, and community groups, will host 8 of the Democratic presidential candidates in Pittsburgh this week for an education forum. The forum will address topics such as school funding, student services, special education, student debt, and teaching conditions. Michael Bennet, Joe Biden, Cory Booker, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Bernie Sanders, Tom Steyer, and Elizabeth Warren are slated to participate. The forum will be streamed live on Saturday, December 14th at 10 a.m. on msnbc.com. That's all for today. For an alert when the next Federal Flash is available, email alliance@allfored.org. Thanks for watching.
Federal Flash is the Alliance for Excellent Education's video series on important developments in education policy in Washington, D.C. Watch online at allfored.org/federalflash, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or listen to Federal Flash wherever you get your podcasts.